Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday, October 16th, and I am 1/3 into Cybele Burn, which is the fourth book in the Expanse series, which is a science fiction series, and I am really liking it, and I definitely plan on finishing it this week. And then I don't have any real set plans. I just know that I want to read some horror books. So I have a lot of horror books in my e-reader, so I will, choose some of them. And I'm very excited for the horror because it's October, so obviously spooky season. Not that I don't read horror like all year round, but I am extra excited to read horror this week and this month in general. Actually, today I'm gonna invade my mom's workplace because they're gonna have sort of farewell party for some people and snacks and stuff. And I was like, can I intrude? And she said, sure. So I'm gonna go there. I mean, I hate leaving the house, and especially I hate leaving the house when it's raining. And it's not raining right now, but it is rainy, and it was raining like an hour ago. So I do hate leaving the house, but I will leave the house for food. So yeah, that's the plan for today. That and hopefully reading 200 pages of this. I would love to do that. Also, I cannot stop doing this because it is so floppy and satisfying to hold. I'm obsessed with this book, both the actual plot and the physical book itself. But anyway, I think that is everything that I had to say for this intro. So welcome to the vlog. Hello, it is Wednesday and I finished Cybele Burn, and I also started a horror book, but let's talk about this first. So this is the fourth book in the Expanse series, and that is a science fiction series where, it's set in the future and a lot of planets on our solar system are inhabited by humans. And there is a lot of conflict, especially between Mars and Earth and the Belters, so people from the asteroid belt. And that is a big conflict, especially in the first books. And there is also sort of it's not a virus, but we don't really discover what it is until pretty much the end of the first book. So I'm not gonna say what it is so I don't spoil it, but it's basically something that causes some infections. And that thing, in other later books, it turns into something we realize that it's something much bigger, and it's still influencing the whole story in these books. And we are mainly following Holden and his crew on a spaceship. And then we follow always other POVs from other people. I think in the first book were only 2 POVs, and then books 2, 3, and 4 we had 4 POVs in each, and they're all different. We always have Holden and his crew, and then just different POVs. And the end of book 3, it ended in a way that just opened up a lot of possibilities, a lot of doors, and we are seeing the effects that is having on the world in this book. And there is at the beginning of the book kind of an accident, and it creates another sort of conflict, and then they also start being attacked by alien things, and it was crazy and it was insane, and I absolutely loved it. I was invested in the book from the start, when we just had the conflict, but once the alien things started coming out to play, I was hooked, and I just love it so much. And every time I put it down, I wanted to pick it back up and read. And especially towards the end of the book, I was just I was trying to read faster than I actually could, because I just wanted to know what was happening. And also the end of this book, like it also creates some possibilities for the future that are not exactly good, not exactly fun, because it's gonna mean probably more conflict, which, not good, obviously, but it will definitely have a very interesting plot. And I'm honestly like debating if this is like 4.5 or 5 stars. And like on the one hand, I feel like, when you have a 5-star book, it gives you the 5-star feeling. And I'm not sure if I have it, so like maybe I should feel it if it was. But on the other hand, there was literally nothing that I didn't like in this book, and I was really like literally obsessed with it and just wanting to keep reading. So like maybe it is 5 stars, but I don't know. I am gonna film the video for it tomorrow, so I will decide until then, but definitely either 4.5 or 5 stars because I loved it. And then I got 25% into the handyman method. And being 25% in, you'd think I would know what's happening, but I don't. And it's not like in a good way where I'm like intrigued. It's in a way that I'm like I don't even know what the plot is. Like I don't even know what the horror element is really gonna be, because I was expecting something supernatural, especially because we are following like a family, a mom, a dad, and a son, and they moved into a new house. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it's a haunted house. And I mean, maybe it is, but so far it hasn't been. Nothing's happening except like the dad being a dick. That's the only horror in the story, which I mean, it is obviously a horrible thing, but it's not what I was expecting from this book. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, and I'm not gonna talk more about it because I don't even know what to say about it. Just that I am not loving it. Definitely not loving it, not even knowing what's happening. And that's what I read, but I got some new books that I'm going to show you. 5 books, and first up we have Nemesis Game, which is the 5th book in the Expanse series, so the one after Cyber LeBurn, and I am very excited to get into it because, like I said, the end of this book, big things are coming. Then I got like a whole series, and this is the Era 2 of the Mistborn saga series, whatever. So we have the first one, which is the Alloy of Law, we have Shadows of Self, we have the Bands of Mourning, and we have the Lost Metal. And I read the Era 1 earlier this year, and yeah, I'm excited to get into these books. Honestly, they're so much smaller than I expected. Smaller as in short, because the books from Era 1 were I don't know, 800 pages. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but they were 600, 700, 800. I don't know. I know they were long. And these ones are small. The first one is 300 pages, I think. Yeah, 325. But it honestly, it looks skinnier than that. It looks very skinny. Also, this is so floppy. I think this one is the only one that's floppy, but it's very floppy. And then the second one is 376, so also small. Then the third is 437, and the last is 500 or something like that. So yeah, they're definitely shorter than I was expecting, which is not an issue. I've been reading a lot of big books, and so yeah, I will appreciate some shorter books for sure, especially in fantasy series. I feel books are always massive, so it's gonna be fun to read some shorter books. And yeah, that's it. Those are the things I had to update, and like I said, I am gonna film the video for Cyber LeBurn tomorrow, and I will probably update you again because I hopefully will have made some progress in the handyman method. I mean, I would like to finish it, but also I'm not really motivated to finish it because I'm not enjoying it. But I will try to. Okay, hello. It is Thursday, and I just finished filming my video for Cyber Burn, and I decided to give it 5 stars because there's just nothing I didn't love about this book, and like I keep thinking about it, and especially like about how it ended and what that will mean for the future. So yeah, 5 stars. And I finished the Handyman Method, and I didn't really like it that much. And now I can explain more what it was about. So we were following, like I think I said, a family, and we had Trent and Rita and their son Milo, and they had just moved into a new house. And both the father and the son, they were like obsessed with some videos. And the father, like, he was watching a channel that was called the Handyman Method, and basically was a guy teaching like how to, fix things, how to build things. But it wasn't just that, like, it had a lot of like toxic advice, and it was just like influencing Trent to be a terrible person and a terrible father and a terrible husband and just a terrible man in general. And Milo was watching a channel that was called Little Boy Blue, I think. And those were the words. Maybe that was not the order, but I would say it was Little Boy Blue. And it also had like some weird advice, and he was doing very weird, very creepy things because of those videos as well. And they were like, both the father and the son were like kind of being influenced by the videos. I usually really like this author for like the body horror things. I think he's really good at describing like really disgusting things. And I do love that when it's, on humans. But sometimes he does it on animals, and I hate it. And I don't know if he has anything against turtles, but like on the troop, there was like an animal abuse scene with turtles. And on this book, there was another one. And I mean, I hate any like scenes with animals being hurt, but I have a turtle. And so like I could not even read that thing. Like I think it was the first time ever I skipped anything on, I mean, a horror book specifically, but I think any book, because, I was just picturing my own turtle and I could not read that because it just makes me so uncomfortable. And there are two kinds of uncomfortable when I'm reading horror books. There's the kind that I like, that is so creepy. I love that. And then there's the uncomfortable that is like, I wish I had never read that in my life and I wish I could erase it from my memory. And that is the kind that like animal abuse scenes, that is the kind of uncomfortable that they are. And so I hated every second of that, even though I skipped most of it. But anyway, they were acting both like very strangely. They were both being abusive, both to animals and to humans. And I was not enjoying, I was not interested. Honestly, I was kind of bored throughout most of the book. I just didn't care really. And once we got to like towards the end and we learned what was happening, I guess it got a little better for me, and I did like the ending, but mostly I was just bored. I was not interested in it at all. So I don't really know if I'm gonna give it 2 or 2.5 stars because, like I said, I did like the ending, but I didn't really like anything else. I mean, I didn't hate it either, but I didn't like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, either 2 or 2.5 stars because it was not my thing. I have not yet started any other book, but I think I'm gonna start another horror, which is Vampires of El Norte. I think that's what it's called. No idea what it's about. I mean, obviously it must be about vampires, but don't know what the plot is. And yeah, I'm gonna read that, gonna edit my video for Cyber Burn, and I will probably talk to you. I don't know if I will have many updates tomorrow, so either tomorrow or at some point during the weekend. it is Saturday night, and I have read Vampires of El Norte. I think I said I was gonna read it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. I honestly have no idea because I am filming like two videos at once. I mean, I usually am, but I never remember like what I say in each one. But I read that, and that was a horror book, and we were following Nena and Nestor. And the book started when they were both 13 years old, and Nana's parents didn't want her hanging out with Nestor anymore because it would like destroy her prospect for marriage, and she like needed to find like a wealthy husband for like their family and their rancho, and like she should not hang out with just a boy. And they are like sneaking out, the two of them, and then Nana is attacked by a monster, which immediately like you assume is a vampire because the book has vampires in the title. And then like he tries to take her back home to try to save her, but once they get to like her parents' house, they say that she's dead. And so like Nestor is really sad and also feeling really guilty, so he leaves. And that's like the first two chapters of the book. And then we move on to 9 years later, and we are still following both characters who have no contact with each other, like they haven't had in 9 years, because like I said, Nestor thinks that she died, and she just thinks that he left her, so none of them like knows the full truth. And then Nestor ends up like going back home, and he and Nena meet again, and they have to like deal with the vampires that are attacking people, and at the same time they have to deal with like a war because Americans have invaded Mexico, because this is set in Mexico, I think I forgot to mention. So they are dealing with all of that, and they have to work together. And I knew going into this book that, I mean, it was horror, but it was also going to be very like historical and very focused on the romance, so like I was already expecting it, even though that is not something I would usually like gravitate towards. Like I was expecting that, but I still wanted to read it because it did sound interesting, and like it was historical and romance but also horror, so I was still excited to read it. And I really enjoyed it, and like the plot twist about like the vampires, like why they were attacking, I thought it was really good. And it wasn't like very horror heavy, but I still really enjoyed it because I really like the characters and I really like the plot in general. And like I didn't care about the romance, like I usually don't. So like if you're someone who likes romance and horror, you will probably like this book even more than I did. But I still really, really enjoyed it, and I am giving it 4 stars. And then last night I started another horror book, which is The Need. And like I went into this book completely blind. I had no idea what it was about. I mean, I still don't, because I only read, I think like 2 chapters. I don't know, it was 20 pages. So I still have no idea what it's about. And I just know that we're following like a woman who has been like hearing creepy sounds, creepy things in her house. And like that's it. So I am hoping this is like a haunted house story, because I do love haunted house stories. Although the handyman method technically was a haunted house story, but I didn't really like the way it interacted with the people in the house. And I mean, I didn't really like the book in general, so I'm hoping I like this haunted house story more. I mean, like I said, I'm assuming it's a haunted house story. I don't even fully know what it is, but I am gonna read that. I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight because, like I said, I'm only 20 pages in, like that is 7%. So I'm not planning on finishing it tonight, but I would like to finish it by like the end of this vlog, and I mean maybe start a new horror book. I don't yet know, like that is the plan, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I will probably now only talk to you on Monday to wrap up the vlog. Okay, so it is Monday, and I actually finished the book that I think I either had started or like I was gonna start, which is The Need, and I also read another book which is Below. And so in The Need, we were following Molly, and at the beginning of the book, she's at home with her two little kids, and she says that she has been hearing like weird noises and feels like there is someone like stalking her and like trying to invade her home. We see at the beginning of the book that there is in fact someone like invading her home, and then we learn that the stalker slash invader knows a lot more about Molly and her family than they should. And it is like there are some very creepy scenes and like very unsettling, very uncomfortable, and also like the nature of the stalker themselves is strange. Like I did not expect that, but like it was fun. And also there was like such a disgusting scene towards the end of the book, but not like disgusting in a way that I was enjoying it. I was just like really grossed out. It was weird, like really, really disgusting. And I mean, it was fun. I was, like I said, unsettled in a good way. So I was really enjoying it, but it wasn't anything that I was like obsessed with or that I was like loving, but it was still a pretty fun book, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And then I read Below, in which we were following Addie, and she was like driving through the night through a snowstorm, and then she starts having car trouble. And she meets a truck driver like when she is having the car trouble, and she kind of like has no choice but to trust him. And they are like, he's trying to help her, they're trying to like drive together, and then they are attacked by some creature. And then like the truck driver, he gets like attacked like much worse than her, and so she has to decide if she's gonna like help him and like brave the elements and brave the creature that is attacking them, or if she's just gonna leave. And then it gets like really weird, really creepy, really fast. Again, it was also very weird, but in a good way, and kind of felt like a fever dream, a very creepy one. And like it was pretty short. It was around 100 pages, I think 120 something pages, so it was really short. Can't really talk more about the plot or I would like spoil everything, but it's like really weird, really unsettling, again, in a good way, and really fun. So I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars. And that's it. That is everything that I have read in the weekend. And to wrap up everything that I read in this week, so I finished Cybola Burn. I read The Handyman Method, I read Vampires of El Norte, I read The Need, and I read Below, and that gives me 1,454 pages, which I am very, very happy with. And so yeah, that is everything for this weekly reading vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!